Blockchain isn't just a technology, it's a revolution. It's the foundation for a world where trust, transparency, and innovation are no longer optional, but inevitable. MultiversX has built one of the most advanced blockchains in Web3, designed to transform how we connect, create, and exchange value. But technology alone isn't enough. The real power lies in spreading the story, telling the world what this chain can do, and more importantly, why it matters. Today, I dive into that vision with the new CMO of MultiversX, Adam Bates, as he shares how he can bring the story to the masses and spark that revolution. Stay tuned towards the end, since Adam shares a powerful message that all can benefit from. Super excited to have Adam Bates joining me today, the new CMO of MultiversX. And we've got a lot of questions for him and a lot of fun stuff to dive into today. So thanks for joining me today, Adam. How are you doing?
I'm very well, and I'm very happy, actually. Guys, forgive me if I cough a little bit. I've been doing so much traveling. I've probably picked up some COVID from somewhere on some plane in some part of the world. But no, thank you. And you are popping my MultiversX cherry, for want of a better idea. This will be the first. This will be the first sort of interview I do as the CMO of MultiversX. So thank you very much for inviting me on.
Awesome. Yeah, glad to have this opportunity. I know people are really excited to get to meet you and learn more about you. So let's kind of dive right into it and tell us, what is Adam Bates' story?
Well, I think my children might say something a little bit different to what I would put the spin on it. And I guess I'm going to play back what a recruiter said to me. He said, just tell me simply, a few words away. And I guess what I do is I try to make brands famous. That's basically it. Put it in a couple of words. My background is that I've been a copywriter for most of the big advertising agencies in the world. Then went up to be a creative director, a brand director. I probably shot 300 plus TVCs. I ran a BBDO stealth agency in London. So for those who don't know, BBDO is one of the top 2 or 3 advertising groups in the world. Sold that. Richer in pocket, poorer in heart. I think that was a pretty important lesson to learn, that money only makes you happy for a certain amount of time, that you have to do what you love. But I guess where my heart is with a lot of things, I like tech, but I also have quite a soft side to me as well. And I want to be able to tell my friends and my family and the people that I love that actually what I'm working on does good. I won't work on tobacco. I've turned that down, and boy, that pays a lot of money. I won't do pharmaceuticals. I won't do politics as well. So I generally try to do stuff that is honest, decent, and true, and nice, and I can be proud of working on. And that, to be honest, has been a little bit tricky with what people think of crypto. And I guess that is one of the things that I'm trying to solve, really. If you wanted to know about my approach to marketing, which you might do, so I can answer my own questions here, it is pretty simple. I think a big idea is worthless unless people know about it. That's it, really. We've got some great products in this space, but if nobody knows about it and nobody cares, then they are absolutely worthless. That's generally my view. So I hope that's a very quick, relatively concise intro into me.
Yeah, no, that was great. I think it's important that you work in a field that you love. It's going to come through in the authenticity and the work anyways. So it makes sense. And obviously you said you like the tech side of it, and here you are in the blockchain world, which is technology. It's the next generation of technology. And you mentioned that it still kind of has the barrier where people don't really understand or know about it, which can be tricky teaching them. So, but you do have the background with working with Cardano as CMO. And I know a lot of people are interested in hearing about your experience working with them.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. So I turned the role down to start with. The recruiter wasn't very happy with that. And then I had a really nice long conversation with Charles and other people there, and we didn't really talk about blockchain. We just talk about branding, marketing ideas that can improve or change things. And I think that's quite important when it comes to marketing any product, is that, and I think blockchain is probably suffering from this more than any others, is that we get so wrapped up with our own tech and what we think do that we forget about the user. And I know people quote Jobs a lot, but he did say some pretty good things. Let's start with the user. What does the user want? What is the benefit? The 10,000 songs in your pocket. And I think that's one thing we forgot, or maybe we didn't even remember is a better way of doing it, because we were so excited by blockchain. Anyway, the question that you asked about Cardano was great. It was an amazing learning experience. Some of the brightest, most intelligent, most energetic people I've worked with. And I can still make one of my friends laugh if I go, oh, zombie chain, ghost chain. And whenever I do that, if he's in a call with a VC or whatever, he will just laugh. And I think it was a little bit divisive because of that. And I think this is one of the things I love and I hate about the space, is that it does become very tribal. And Cardano was polarizing, and I learned that well. But I think what I learned from that was a couple of things. We were true to our principles. You can't be all things to all people. What I learned from Cardano is to have a very clear vision and mission. You have to ask yourself, why should I care? I mean, this is just not about blockchain, but any product, any personality, any brand, any band, any restaurant, any car. Why should I care? And you go, okay, well, tell me it really simple. Why should I care? What are you doing? And then you have to make it really easy for people to understand about your product and share it. And I think that's what we did. And I'm talking collectively here with Cardano. What we did was we actually had a pretty solid go-to-market and a very, very strong vision and narrative and a very, very strong tone of voice. So the principle we worked was we're going to improve the systems of the world for everyone everywhere. We're not going to disrupt. We're not going to decentralize. We're not going to cause all these problems. We're just going to make things a little bit better. Yeah, we're going to improve it for everyone. And that was really, really, really important, that whether that was social media, whether it's tracking where your pharmaceuticals came from, whether it was making it easier to send somebody money, whatever it might be, we're going to improve it a little bit. And that's what I fundamentally believe is the truth about blockchain. We also had a very clear go-to-market, and these are lessons learned. So get your mission and your vision locked down and be consistent with that. You know, we targeted corporations, governments, NGOs, global conglomerates, because we wanted to improve those systems, and they're the big systems. And whether we like it or not, we're in this Web3 meme-driven world. But actually, if we're going to get change, we have to change the existing systems and be seen as their friends, not their enemy. Not as these guys in their basements wearing hoodies, made a lot of money very quickly. You know, we just, my view is you can't act like that. You have to behave in a different way to get that adoption. And that's what Cardano was very, very good at as well. A couple of other lessons was that, what is your tone of voice? We would always act like the adult in the room. We were serious scientists. We built solid products, and therefore we weren't going to get into a tit-for-tat fight with people. Now, that was really important, because if you look at, if anyone that knows Game of Thrones, and I presume a lot of, and there's one where one of the Lannisters, the hand is cutting open the sheep, and Jaime's there, and he goes, why should a lion care about the opinion of a sheep? And sometimes, especially with social media, we get wrapped up in such a tiny little comment that we forget the bigger picture. And it takes a lot not to respond to everything somebody says about you, but you just have to sometimes be a little detached. And that's one of the things that Cardano were very, very, very good at, because we had such a strong community and we empowered them, and they protected the brand, and they fought the fight for us in many ways. Like in a fleet at sea, you have the frigates protecting the aircraft carrier, or in American football, you have the offensive line protecting the quarterback. And that's what I learned. The power of the community is vital to not only share your message, but also to protect it. But don't do it in a nasty way. I don't like haters, and I don't like Zeds. I think that's one of the things that I particularly like about MultiversX, is that they don't have a nasty side to them. I don't think that's a good look as well. And I don't like fun sponges. So my experience of them is they're bright, they're open, they're friendly. And that's what I think we should do as well. So there are lots of really, really good lessons to be learned from Cardano. I had a lot of fun doing it there. I think the final thing I would say And hopefully this is where marketing and communications can come in, and it comes back to a big idea is worthless. Unless anyone knows about it. We were very, very good at taking the message to the people. I think the first year I was there, I think 250 out of 350 days we were on the road. And we went to Mongolia, we went to Africa, we went to all these places, even during COVID, so we could take our message to the people. I would go down to Hell's Kitchen in New York, not say who I was, and go into a local meetup for 10, 20 people. When we did the Cardano Summit 2021, and that's still the biggest hybrid marketing event anyone's ever done. We had 40 sub-events for 500 people, 7 main events for 2,500 that were running for 48 hours. We had metaverse, we had everything because we were trying to bring it to the people. And when people came to our events, the main one was in Laramie in Wyoming. We had to put special internet in there in order for people to come and actually enjoy the experience in the middle of an American football pitch. So coming back, and you should always tell stories to come back to the start, the vision and mission and how you behave is vital. And Cardano was for the people, by the people, so we had to take it to the people rather than just have it in these big expensive places like Las Vegas and Zurich and Dubai. This wasn't true to the brand. It wasn't true to the brand. And I think if you have that, whether you agree with it or not doesn't matter, but you do stand for something. So those are some great lessons to be learned from Cardano.
No, I love that. That's the best type of marketing too. The bootstrapping, the down to the ground, duct tape marketing, get the message out there, meet the people. And I see a lot of similarities with the Cardano community and MultiversX community. Very, very strong communities, very kind of tech driven, forward thinking. And I think that's why it's kind of an interesting synergy. So one thing you said in your first appearance with Benjamin, which I found interesting, was...
Oh God, what are you going to say?
No worries. No. It was a great appearance, by the way. And how tall are you? You were at least a head over Benjamin.
Well, in Imperial, I'm 6'5", which I guess in metric is about 198, 2 meters, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yes, definitely tall. But yeah, in your meeting with him, you said facts tell and stories sell. So I'm really interested to know what, according to Adam Bates, is MultiversX's story.
Well, that would be the secret sauce. and I'm not being critical. I'm still to figure that out, if I'm really, really honest. What attracted me to working with the guys is that I had a lot of time one-to-one with Benjamin, and I still do. And it was just to figure out what this vision and mission is and what it should be. And if I'm really honest, we're close, but I need to be able to get that down into 3-4 words. Like I use the example of Netflix, entertain the world. I'm still trying to figure that out. We're close, but let me give you an example. Take any of the top 150 chains. Go onto their websites, put your finger over their logo, and I guess nearly all of them will say we're the fastest, the most scalable, the most secure. Well, you can't be all those things. So I think you have to be true to the DNA, and that's what I'm delving into at the moment. If you look at, say, someone like Apple, and you go, hey, they spent all that time and all that money with the agency, and they got Think Different. Yeah? Oh, that was great. I mean, the agency's charged me $1 million a month to get that. Doesn't sound like much for 2 words, does it? But I think when you have that and it's true, then you can build a really solid brand. And that's what we're trying to figure out at the moment. So I'm being really open with you. It's close, but I want something that isn't just to make the people at MultiversX happy. It has to be, if I was to talk to one of my friends in the pub, or I was to talk to a pub, or for those not English, into a bar or a cafe or whatever it might be. And I think that's what I'm trying to get down to. What's going to resonate with them? And so therefore, when you've got that, then you've got your culture, and then you've got your attitude, and then you've got your experience, and then you've got your values. So it's not just a flip one or 2 words that make it work. And so, yeah, I do believe with a real passion that facts tell but stories sell. You have to tell. Why is that important? 10,000 songs in your pocket is so much more value to you on an emotional level than the fastest, most efficient MP3 player, which is how Dell would market it. So I'm not trying to avoid answering you. It's just that I'm working on it at the moment. Now, the other thing to bear in mind, and this is one of the huge appeals about MultiversX, it's not a one-trick pony. There is so much more coming, and it can do. And so therefore, when you set up a vision or mission, it has to work down the line as well. That's really, really important. So if you look at Netflix again, and you say, what's your mission? I'm going to entertain the world. How are you going to do that? Best streaming service, the best original content. And even Netflix had its name before they knew that they could stream films and content on the internet. So yeah, the secret sauce we're working on. Maybe when it's done, you'll go, no big shock there. But I think just standing for one thing is what's going to set them apart. And to make, Sovereign Chains is such a great product, Dave. It's such an amazing product, but nobody is telling the world what it can do. It's like Avengers Assemble. It's like playing fantasy football, and you've got Messi, and you've got Ronaldo, and you've got all these great players that can all come together. It's like, wow. And we're not telling people this, and I just need to find that very simple narrative that works and sort of brings that together. So I feel a bit like a politician here. Maybe I'm not answering your question, but just bear with me, guys. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. It actually reminds me of Simon Sinek's Golden Circle, which I'm guessing you're probably familiar with that video. And it was a TED Talk where you have to talk about the why, not the how and the what, basically.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking to do. And I get it. Just with doing that for my own company years ago, the mission, vision, and values, which was about 200 words, took me 6 months to do. So it's not an overnight process.
Yeah. And the other thing as well, I'll bring this up, guys. It's like, I don't know if anyone, and I'm not getting a kickback from this fake sponsor content from it, on IG. No, it's just read that, and it just tells you about being different, not better. It's like if products make a difference. Red Bull is, I can't stand it, but you drink it because you believe in the brand and what it stands for. And when someone invented energy drinks, they created this whole new category that nobody had ever heard of. Corner yogurts, Dyson, Dyson hairdryer, curling, all these things, nobody had heard about them. And I think we have to think a little bit more long term, and I think that's what's the beauty of the guys at MultiversX. They're thinking about things very deeply, planning the technology not just for a quick, we can boost the token price, get out, cash in, off we go again, lads. I think there's a longer play, and you'll have that long tail hockey stick approach where you go, they brought that out now, and that's really important. And I think everybody says they're not affected by marketing. Yeah. No, it has no influence on me. So why did you pay? Why did you pay, 5 times the cost for your Porsche on your drive when it still goes as quickly as you could have got an old Ford? Well, it's a Porsche, isn't it? Same thing. You buy brands, and how you communicate that, how people feel. Red Bull, how you feel about Red Bull? Can a Red Bull? I'm a bit of a lunatic, yeah? These things are important because ultimately there's not that many products that are that different. And the challenge we're trying to solve with MultiversX is to go, okay, can we create a new category? Can we do something that nobody's really done before? And just then you have to market it in that way and communicate in it, and the experience. And even doing these things are important. If you having access to me and the community having access to me, and I can get one more person who will be a fan, a supporter, an advocate of MultiversX, then it's worth it. That's how I view it. Tiny steps, and eventually you will get a long way there. But it's going to be interesting. But and I'm glad you do. The vision and mission thing, because it just unites people. And it's so important. For me, it's so important anyway.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I don't want to say play the devil's advocate here, but how do you talk to the community that is looking for something a little more short term that can be maybe a little bit more impatient and not, I don't know, maybe impatience harsh, but
No,
not able to see the big picture vision that Benjamin and the team see and want to see the results that a lot of other chains are showing now.
Yeah, that's a fair question. So I suppose the question is, what's success? Now, is success seeing the token price double in the next 3 weeks? Maybe that's what they see as success. You want to do that? I can do that for you. Oh, just seriously, I'll tell you what you do. It's really simple. Okay. Yeah. You take the name, you change the URL, you put -ai.com at the end of it. Say, hey, we're an AI-based chain. 30% of your token price goes up. Yay, great lads. That's not what we're here for. That's not the sort of product I want to work on. And then come back to the Cardano lesson. We said we are not interested in the token price, and lo and behold, it went up. And I think from what I can see, the MultiversX community don't seem to be as driven by that retail greed. I'm sure investors are, and nobody likes losing money on what they've put into it. But from my experience so far, they're all on board with building something that has real long-term value. I think what we have to show them, and when we'll get traction, is we will start to see more users, more awareness, and that's where you will get that community on board. And in many ways, I'll play the devil's advocate as well. If you want to speculate, then speculate. Go and do that. Look at ones that are doing airdrops and rug pulls and things like that. But I actually believe that this is proper tech. This is proper tech that we're building. And if you're only interested in greed, which greed's great, there's nothing wrong with that. We all got to pay our bills. Then look at some of these more speculative ones. Look at your meme coins. Look at things like this. But I think the people that build products that last and build it well, that's what I see in the MultiversX community. And that might upset some people as well. When Lambo, when this, that's fine. But I think as an industry as well, we have to change. Here's an example. If I was a bank, okay, I'm a bank, and I was to put an advert out now, and I would say, I will give you 10% interest on your savings, you get a flood of people going to you. Yeah. If you don't make that difference in a day on crypto, go, oh, that's a bad day, wasn't it? Do you see what I mean? It's a mindset that I think we have to get out of, because if we want to get that adoption, I like to see stuff go steady like that. Yeah. Whereas if you see it like that, then is it solid? Is it trusted? Is it reliable? And when you see people hyping and dumping, I know that people in trading, all they care about is the market moving. They don't care whether it's up or whether it's down. That's my view as well. But the question then becomes, what does the community see as success? And I don't think that's been answered. But I think it's bigger than just token price. That's my view, if that's an answer. But please, be a devil's advocate. Ask me something else. I can only be true to what I believe. That's it.
No, I think that's great. I love that answer. That's perfect. And I think it actually points to a little bit what was released in the recent town hall with the I forget the name of them, but the 5 pillars. Those are the kind of goals or milestones. And I think this is really the first time they've been set by the team, at least that I've seen, that are visible. And I think it gives the community something to look forward to and also aim for too, which is great. Covering the transaction speed, costs, TPS, everything to users, to developers, everything. So I think it's important to have those numbers and be able to answer the question, like you said, what is success? And it seems like they're starting to lay out that framework for that, which is good.
Yeah, there was a lot of work that went into that, and it wasn't just from people at Multiverse. There's other people we talked to everyone and that, and I think it had to be set clear. And it was very interesting, very exciting, but we owe it to the community and to everyone else that's involved to say, look, this is what we're trying to do. And there are some tough choices in there, but at least we're trying to be grown up about it and not hide it and try. you have to have an open relationship, so that everybody understands what we're trying to do and why we're trying to do it. Sports analogies are great. So I don't know whether you're a Formula One fan, but if you look at Mercedes and they said, they always had the best car. Of course, Lewis Hamilton. Toto Wolff, he said the thing that made that car so good was our culture, and our culture was open, and it took 2 years to get an open culture. And what I mean by that is that if you say, Dave, why isn't the car going so well around the corners? And you go, well, the problem is this. You don't say, suspension, they're not doing their job. The tyres are not doing their job. And it's that culture when you say something and it's taken as a critique, not a criticism, and you don't take it personally, is really hard. But when you can get over that, and that's what we're trying to do in this war mode focus mode, we're trying to say, look, guys, we spent a lot, and remember, I'm a newbie to it as well, so I haven't been into the weeds as much as all the guys that have been building this for years. So look, we tried lots of things. It's new tech, and actually, we just step back and go, okay, what do we focus on now? With some lessons were great, some cost us a lot of money and didn't work, and that's what they're trying to be, and just say to everyone, look, this is what we've tried. Now, this is what we're going to do now. We can do no more. I mean, my view of all marketing, of all things in life, really, is maybe 6, maybe 7 out of 10 things sure could succeed. You can't have 100% success. You'd be crazy. It's just, you have to be like that. And if people accept that, fine. You tell me anyone out there who is perfect. And they just don't exist. We all make mistakes, but we all try. And if your heart's in the right place and do it for the right reasons, that's what we're going to try and do. And so we have a duty of care. We have to share that with the community and everybody. So this is what we've done. Let us take it forward, and we'll be open with you. But yeah, it was a good doc. It was a good summation of everything. And I like this idea of going to war mode to focus mode. Do one thing and do it well. New tech, you don't know what's going to work. You don't. So we've tried to lay that down and say, okay, we're going to try now, guys. Support us. There will be people that knock us. Go, well, I wouldn't have done that. Yeah, okay, maybe you wouldn't, but you're not in that position to do it. So, like in Hamilton, it says like smile more, talk less. Yeah, the musical. He's like, you got to help us. Don't knock us. Help us. We're trying to do the right thing. Some will work, some won't. All we can ask of people is to be on our side and support us and give us open advice. And if you do have criticism, then offer an alternative. That's what I would say as well. Okay, I wouldn't do it like this, but I would do that. And we'll try our best to listen. We have to.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So let's kind of dive into some of that you touched on, the plans. Obviously, one of your big focuses is going to be kind of revealing the story, the picture and creating that for people. And maybe not creating it because it's already there. We just have to reveal it, I guess. Also, what are your other big focuses for really bringing the message of MultiversX to the masses?
Well, I'll start with some putting aside, like we've talked about, the vision and the mission and everything like that. I think it comes down to why should I care? Why should I spend 30 seconds of my life actually reading or trying to understand about you guys than watching a cat playing a piano meme or some crazy thing on Instagram, whatever it might be? So I think there are to bring it to the masses, you have to do a few things. You have to make it very, very easy to understand what we're doing, and you have to make it in nice little digestible formats. Hey, we've done a 2.5 hour podcast. Great. We're going to slice and dice that up into lots of other pieces that is easy to digest. Okay. You also have to get that message out there on as many different platforms in as many different formats as possible. I think in the early days of the marketing, when we start to ramp this up, we all try things and some will work and some might not. But I think if we always play in the sort of crypto Twitter or crypto X space as it is, we're just in our own echo chamber again. So I think trying new means to market is going to be really, really important. Putting aside that we said what is success and the vision and mission and everything like that, once you know why people care, the other thing is, who's your audience? This is what I don't think anyone has really got into yet, into the whole of the blockchain space. Who is our audience? Where in the world are they? So if I'm going out to Korea soon, why? Because the won is trading more than the dollars in crypto. and yet nobody wants to go out there, or wants to go out there, but nobody really does go out there. So you've got a marketplace there that is like really, really big into cryptocurrency. So we should be out there, at least listening to them and talking to them and taking our story out there. When I say our story, I almost mean blockchain story as well. If you look at where are the emerging economies in the world, and what does it mean to them? If somebody could make an extra $10, $100 a month using blockchain products, then that could transform your life if you're living in one of these emerging economies. Now, the other thing as well when you do that is just to look at, okay, China, that's a really big market, but only 9% of people are trading in it. And it's a slightly different sort of culture to say somewhere like India, where you've got 60, 70 people who are interested in crypto. So again, choosing where we have our battlefields, where our audiences are, what difference that can make. I think that's going to be one of the things about taking the story to a wider audience, because that is understanding your audience as well. And so I think that's going to be a key part in what is mass market. You can't appeal to everyone everywhere. You have to stand for something like Apple and think different. There are people that will love Lenovo and Dell until their dying days. They're a third of the cost of Apple. But Apple fans are hardcore to it. So I think taking it mass market, that's one of the things we need to figure out. I don't know the answer, but I know the questions to ask to try and get there. The other thing that's always surprised me, this is crazy, and I'm getting the guys to do it now, is that, hey, we're a global product, we're going to improve the lives of everyone everywhere. And then, so what language is your website in then? That's what, English. Why do we not put our websites and our content into French, into Arabic, into Cantonese? We should do that. We're a little bit arrogant. And I mean the whole of our industry. That's what I mean. The other thing as well is, look at most of our sites and our content. Where are the humans? Where are the people? They don't exist in any of our marketing at the moment. There's no human relevance to it. So I think when you talk about it mass market, the first thing we have to do is humanize it and find out who we're talking to. That would be the first stage. Then we throw a lot of stuff out there and to see what sticks and what resonates, because there's only one person that is key in this, and that is the consumer. And what do they want? If I look at, say, AI recently, AI was going to be Terminator, taking over the world. It was do you know what we use it for? Hey, I've got a nice new picture, I improved my Instagram picture, and wow, look, I've got something of my dog as well. It's like nobody predicted that. It was going to be robots and Arnie killing us all. And instead, where the adoption came from Runway, and Mid-Journey, completely different. Consumer is king. The customer is king, maybe. So does that help?
Yeah, a little bit, I'd say. So it's
okay. Go on then.
Yeah, you obviously mentioned having the story, and then finding the right audience and the people, and then tossing out stuff and see what works. Which, again, makes sense. Where this is an emerging technology, a lot of the world still doesn't understand it. They don't know about it. A lot of it even thinks it's still a scam. My father-in-law, I can't convince him that it's not.
Nope.
So, could you give us some examples on what you might mean when you say throw something out there and see if it sticks?
Okay. Let's try and think of some examples. Do events work, for example? Does taking it out to the people and having events, there are loads of crypto events, but the only people that make money out of those are the people running them generally. So are they a good thing? So maybe we should do less of them. Maybe we should do more of them. I don't know. Maybe we should do some of the bigger ones as well. So there's elements like that. Should we look at doing more mainstream advertising? Putting aside what the SEC might look at if we run ads in Times Square, stuff like that. But we don't feel like that. In fact, Cardano did. Cardano was one of the ones that took more out there. Now, we would all argue that, say, someone that's done mainstream sponsorship, there are people like Tezos and OTX and everyone else that puts the FTX on Formula One cars. Was that the right thing to do? They tried. Some might argue yes, but if you think of sponsorship as just a sticker on a car, then it's not successful. If you think about it because it's the deals you do in the back room because it gives you access to those people, then it's worth it. And that's what I mean. We're trying. We get wrapped up. We get wrapped up with like, Web3 marketing. It has to be like this. It's just marketing, guys. Don't really, please don't try and kid yourself that there's Web3 or no way. It's like, it's just another way of doing. I love memes. I think memes are funny, but just because they came sort of in Web3 doesn't mean a Web2 company can't use a meme. It's like we have to get over this them and us. And so what I mean is I will try different things. I will try stunts, I'll try events, I'll try some crazy PR stuff. I've done stuff that's been featured on the front of newspapers and won crazy awards because we try. And I think that's what it is. The one thing I dislike is being told no. I've been told a lot of times no, and I get round it. And that's what I mean. Let me give you an example. It's not very exciting because it's paint. Tins of paint, really boring. Most of Europe, it's you must come round for dinner sometime, Dave, and I'll tell you about my paint story. Most of Europe is rental. Houses are painted white, wood is stained brown. Okay, I worked with this Danish company called Dyrup, and they were looking about bringing colour into life. And okay, well, surely, if you bring colour into someone's life each day, it makes it a bit happier, a bit brighter. So we had this idea that we could. So I said, I commute every day. Wouldn't it be great if when you went onto the subway or the underground or whatever it is, all the railway tracks were bright colours? So yeah, that'd be really cool. Well, can we do it? So we were, because it's a Danish company, we went to the Copenhagen Transport, and they went, no. So why not? Well, no. Well, why not? Well, no. I said, well, what if we paint them all over a weekend? I said, yeah, but you'll have to paint it back to pooey brown. All right, fine. So we did. And we painted them. It cost us about 50,000 euros for a whole weekend. Every railway station. I can show you the pictures, not even retouched, yeah?
Wow.
And no, it took about 50. In old money, it got about 4 million euros worth of media coverage in the first day. Yeah. So whatever X that is returned, won loads of awards. And that was because someone said no. And no one had said, I tell you what, so Dave's asked, why don't we do some outdoor experiential stuff? And I don't know what the idea is of what might work, but I know that we will try and bring it to it. Now, on the back of that, what we did was we then renovated children's playgrounds and painted things in colourful colours. So again, it's the brand experience. And I think that's what I mean. I don't know the answer to it, but I know that I have to try to do something that is a little bit brighter, a little bit bolder, a little bit more visible, so that you get engagement, not just for the message, but how you do it. So for example, when Cardano did the biggest blockchain deal that anyone had done at the time, which was 5 million DIDs from African government, I said, well, surely then we should do the biggest piece of blockchain marketing that anyone's done. Yeah, okay, makes sense, Alan. So we took over the Times and the Wall Street Journal and Wired and the Economist and I think New York Times as well. And we took over their websites globally for a whole day. Nobody could advertise. And so much cover, even the marketing got covered. And that's what I mean is like, just try and do it a bit bolder, braver, different. Be prepared to fail. Try something else. Not saying it's going to work, but I think if you don't try, then you're failing anyway. But that sounds grandiose, doesn't it? I don't mean to sound grandiose, but that's sort of my approach. I will listen. There will always be someone that has a great idea. My job is to try and bring that and make it happen. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what the fit is, and that is what's exciting about creativity and branding. That you have this blank piece of paper. That's what you start with every day. And do you know, Dave? The worst thing that anyone can say to anyone in marketing was, "That's not creative enough." God, that hurts. Can you imagine going up to Picasso and going, "I'll tell you what, Pablo, it's not creative enough." It sucks. Yeah. It sucks. It really, really does. And I think if I can bring that into the teams that we're working with our PR agencies, with our community, and say, guys, try. Just try. Let's see what we can do that just takes our message further, because we have to.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, we're in a new space. So you have to try, like you said, try and see what sticks. Yeah. So, okay. Let's kind of dive into the community a little bit, because MultiversX has an incredibly strong community, very similar to Cardano's, one of the strongest in the Web3 space, at least on Twitter, which is the kind of the go-to crypto social media platform. And I know many, as well as myself, are kind of interested to hear your thoughts on how to utilize and to work with a community, since it can be such a powerful force for putting the message out there.
So I'll be really open with you. Do you think MultiversX at the moment work well with their community?
No.
Okay, so tell me, what do we need to do? Ask questions like this maybe as the start.
Yeah.
No, it's like that's genuinely what it is. I'm not trying to trick you or anything like that. What do we need to do? Talk to us, guys. I have a theory, but I'd love to know what do we need to do? What do you want from us?
So, yeah, I guess one thing that's been a constant you hear from a lot of people is the kind of the lack of communication. And I look at it as a communication level almost.
Yeah.
Because we have the team and all this stuff going on with the team, some amazing stuff going on. And they have these ideas and things they're tossing around on how to continue to push things forward. And they're brilliant developers and amazing at what they do. They built, in my opinion, the best, most technologically sound blockchain in Web3. And then there's this community that just kind of believes the mission and sees and understands. But a lot of what happens doesn't get trickled down sometimes. Such as what happened or what we saw in the town hall or the Full Shard podcast. Stuff like that was amazing. The transparency, the openness of it. And I know people are craving so much more of that, and communication in so many different ways too. Another example is X Exchange, as of a couple months ago when Lucas was in charge of it, put out long updates about this is what's going on, this is why we hit some delays, this is where we're going next. And that's the stuff that I think the community really wants to see and has really been lacking. That's going to keep the community engaged and give them also talking points so that they know what's going on.
Well, let's do that then. It's a pretty simple fix, isn't it? Just communicate. It's like, why do most relationships break down? Because you don't talk. Whether that is ordering something, you order in your Uber and you didn't get any updates as to where he is, to marriage. That's all it is. It's pretty simple. So if the community are saying, talk to us more, share with us, then we will. You can overshare, but it's true. It's like, maybe rather than doing that, a 2.5-hour podcast, my plan would be to slice and dice that into lots of little bits. And sometimes it might be too much and too regular. But I think if I'm hearing you correctly, it's that we're just not talking enough. We're not communicating with you enough. And that's pretty simple fix, in my opinion, as well. Is to just keep getting those messages out there and just keep talking to be known. We've committed to do another town hall. I would like to, and this is where Benjamin might fire me, I suggested, I'm being open here, we should do a podcast and a town hall every month. We should be getting that out there. So my view is that doing something like this with you is super important, and being available for the community and to start saying our message. You don't have to agree with everything we say, but I think making ourselves available is as important as building the product as well. And I think they've been so focused in building this amazing product. Now is the time to tell people what you've been doing and to be available. And maybe I can ease some of that pressure on them as well, and say, okay, now start talking to them. We should be speaking at this event and we should start sharing more with our community. But I think it is a communication thing. It's one of the things that I put in place at Cardano that I know work well. When I joined there, and they've got an amazing community team and it grew and grew and grew, is that the communication was a little bit ad hoc. You might have an hour podcast, a 2-hour one, an AMA. I said, well, I brought in the Cardano 360 and said, well, just I always say, what would Apple do? So it's like regular every month, and you can meet the founders and you can get people from the community in there, and just gives it some sort of structure. Structure's not boring. It just gives you a nice, safe place to be. And you start to engage with them and they feel part of it. It's like if you're a fan of a particular K-pop group or a drama or a show, or Comic-Con, they go there. They're there to answer those questions. You're our fans. Let's not try and make it too complicated. You are our fans. And fans, if they do not see the people that they want to, won't turn up, and they won't go to your movies, and they won't buy your albums. And that's what we've got to do. And it seems a pretty 101 thing to do. Now, some people might not like to be in public. Fair enough, and so we have to find the ones that do to do that. But if what you're saying to me, and it's what's resonated with a lot of people, is look, just talk to us more, guys, please. Just tell us what's going on, because it's almost the act of talking, and so it is the biggest barrier. So I will try my best to make sure that we talk with you more. That's starting point to get this done, to take the story out to other people. But equally, it can't be a one-way street. Tell us what you want to know as well. Send stuff to me. Probably the most stupid thing I've said on this interview. Send stuff to me, but just let us know. You've got the channels and stuff that we use. Just let us know, and we'll try our best. We'll generally try our best, but we can't help you if you don't help us. We don't. If it's communication, we'll do that. We'll put more stuff out there as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's one of the things I hear the most across the entire community is the communication. And I know it has been relayed multiple times, but you also mentioned it has to come with a kind of a solution as well. It has to be constructive criticism if you're going to give feedback. And I think some people definitely lack not the ability to do that, but sometimes just lack doing it in general. It almost seems like there needs to be that layer in between that is that piece that takes all the information from the people that maybe don't want to be in front of the camera all the time or talking to the community all the time and relaying it to that community. And I feel like it has to be more than just it can't just be yourself. Robert's been kind of a key part in this recently. He's been I don't want to say the savior of the community, but he's been so active and involved in the community, answering questions and being all over social media that it's been amazing having him. But we need 20 Roberts on different levels. And to give a short experience of what I just went through recently, I joined a new community, got somewhat involved in it, and the interaction that I saw from it was out of this world. It made it so clear why this blockchain is doing so well, because right off the bat, I'm being contacted by founders and developers saying, hey, do you want to do an interview? Or, hey, come join this group and chat with us. Or there's just so much more activity for the community, which then presents more opportunities for the chain. And that's something that's definitely been lacking from MultiversX.
Yeah, I think community to me is summed up in, from my experience, is it comes down to TLC. It's tender, loving care. It is like any relationship, you have to put the time and effort into it. Now, it could be our fault, and I'm saying ours, and again, I'm new here, that we've been so busy building and doing stuff as well, and that's great, but maybe we haven't given that time and attention. It's a bit like, let's say a father who goes out to work every single day and earns all his money and comes back and looks after him. The children go, but Dad, you haven't played football with us for months. And maybe there just needs to be that little bit of reality check. And it's a very, very fine balance to get that right. But I think community to me is just about care. It needs a lot of deep attention. Now, do we have a big enough team to do that? No, we don't. We don't. My community team at Cardano was over 40 people out of a marketing team of 100, and that's a lot to ask of people. But again, if I can get my remit right, we can start putting more and more people out there. One of the things that I would look for, and I was talking to someone about this beforehand, is I would have an open brief to say who wants to come and help us tell the story as well in these early stages in a marketing sort of point of view. If there are people out there that want to help us tell the story, what can we do to support you as well? One of the things we learned at Cardano is people are so passionate about it, they want to write for us. Fine. Okay, so then maybe what we do a guest podcast or a guest writer, whatever it might be, blogger, whatever you want to call yourself. And every single week we ask someone from the community and we'll give you that platform and you can tell us what you think. And maybe that's the way to go forward. I don't know. This is what I mean when you asked the question earlier, what do you do? There's just different ways that we could try. And maybe that's it. We will give a platform to someone from our community every single week. and they can go and tell us what they're working on, what they think. Maybe that's the way forward as well. So, yeah, communication is going to be key, and just talking, but not to use Bill Clinton's words. I hear your pain is what he said when his election was going on. I think we have to listen to you and talk to us, and we will try and share more with you. That's what I think we have to do.
Awesome. No, I love to hear that. And I know the community will as well. And it's a lot of it's going to come with the town halls and the podcasts and all that. And we do have another town hall scheduled in, I think, about 6 to 7 weeks, which is great. And
well, maybe we can do more than that, Dave. Maybe, but maybe, I'm not going to try and cause myself a problem here, but, I sometimes volunteer for student stuff. And maybe I ought to do one a week where I will talk to someone from the community. They can just come and whatever you want to do, just talk, tell me what you think and what we could do. What you think is great about it. The community knows more about our product and how it's marketed and what's happening than we do, because it's a different, vibrant ecosystem. So I'd ask everybody in the community, just say, look, what do you want us to do? You are our client. We are nothing without you. Tell us what we need to do. Think about it like a sports team as well. What do we need to do to get more fans on our side? Tell us, do we need to, so using the spot, do you need to sign up to signings? If you look at, I don't know if you know the Wrexham thing with Ryan Reynolds and the other guy, as they call it, it's like, that must hurt every day. Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds and the other guy. But they're in the same situation, there's these Hollywood stars coming to take over this Welsh football team, and it's like, how are they going to do it? How do they get in? And one of the things they did was they just turned up to matches, and they were there, and they weren't in their corporate box. They were with the people. And if we have to do that, then tell us. But you have to tell us what you think and what you would like from us. We're trying to do... We changed X Day from Seoul. That's going to be next year. That's why I'm going out to Korea as well, because it's going to be a bigger global event to try and promote blockchain, not just MultiversX, but blockchain as a whole and Web3. And that's why we're doing a satellite event at Munich as well, because we want to make it a little less informal, a little bit less structured, and everybody's welcome. And we want to try and do more of those to bring them to more people as well. Now, it might be you say, actually, that's great, but we'd like to do one a month in different cities. Maybe it's just, we'll find it becomes more like a meetup than a big thing. Tell us what you'd want, and we will try our best. We will listen. I think that's the first stage, is to tell us what you'd like to help us engage, what tools you need, what assets you need, and we will try. But you have to tell us.
Yeah,
I'm not passing the buck on to you guys. I'm really not. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great message to relay to the community too, and something to kind of even restate that you have to get clear on what you want, and then also constructive around how you present it, and I guess ask for it.
Please ask. Honestly, guys, the community, to anyone out in the community, just ask us, what would you like? I've said something I'm going out to, this is my approach, not so I'm going to go out to Korea. Why? Because I think it's important, etc., etc. I need to promote X Day. I want to meet people. There's a few other deals that hopefully we can get locked down out there. But I've said, look, if anyone wants to meet me for some soju, you want to do some barbecue, you want to do it, I will come and see you. Now, that could be in a little side street in Itaewon. It could be I don't mind. But at least I can offer you have access to me. So where I am, just let me know. And this would be the first step. If I'm here, come and see us. Now I could volunteer. Hey, do you want to come and look at the head offices or wherever? Just do it, please. Because we have to be open to you like that. So, yeah, tell us what you want from us. Yeah, and I can't promise that we can do it all, but at least I'm trying to embrace this spirit of openness to say, look, we are here for you. Tell us what you need and we will try our best, because we are nothing without you. Not everything's going to work. We'll try, Dave. Even doing this, like I said, doing this is important. It's like we have to do it. If it means just one person joins us and understands.
Yeah, that's great to hear that you're behind that and that's your thought process as well. So let's kind of move on into what's next. What's next for? I know you've kind of laid out you're going to Seoul, and you're working on revealing the story and pushing that out. What's next for MultiversX?
I was going to be really quiet then for a bit, so I'm not telling you. I think what's as important as communication is to know what the roadmap is. Now, by roadmap, I don't mean a technical, but what the plan is. And what I'm trying to put in place now is tell us where we want to be in 12 months. And then we can plan for that. And that's what I'm trying to figure out now. There's a lot of things moving with both the technology and the way markets are moving. By markets, I don't mean the price of tokens. I mean different technology that's coming in. So that's what we're trying to figure out as to what's next for MultiversX. I think when you look at the war mode, there are certain pillars and things that we'd like to aim. They are stretch goals. If you look at the marketing one, we're going to increase awareness by 10 times. Yeah, that's pretty much a big stretch goal to try and do, but we'll do our best to do that. Dave, I can't tell you about some of the technical things that are coming. But if we get it right, then I think that you will see a much bigger adoption of MultiversX. And by right, it's just telling that story. If you think about the TPS that we've got, I told a friend of mine who runs like an events committee, he goes, "So why did you join them? They're just Elrond, what have they done?" I said, "Do you realise that they've tested 72,000 TP?" Because what the hell? Nobody knows about. Honestly, this is insane. It's like Ethereum. Hey, Ethereum Max, we can get 62 DPS. It's a TPS. It's like, what? And you've got this amazing product as well. And then you've got the ability to increase throughput on an L2 by 100-fold. This is like Nox. This is like Nox for blockchain. This is like, actually, it's a bigger leap than that. It's just going to turbocharge everything. It's like, take this special tablet and you become Kazam, you become like Captain America or the Hulk, in a nice way. And I think that's what the future holds. If we did nothing to progress the tech over the next 12 months, all we did was tell people that story and how it can work, you'd see a massive change. And yet the tech will change and improve because what's coming and how it could be used. So I think the bedrock is there to do that. That is why I've joined, but it's just your story, guys. My God, talk about this analogy about we've created the perfect island, but nobody really knows about it. You don't know what you're sitting on. And for the community, you have to help us with this as well. Every single opportunity to tell that. Imagine if another L2 could be 100 times faster throughputs. And what I think is really going to be really, really important here when you ask about what's next, just doing that would, if you stop building everything, just stop. Okay? You've got a product that can wipe the floor with everybody else. That's enough. We just need to tell that and get that out to people. That to me would be the biggest leap. And I think the other thing that they don't know is coming back with a storytelling. You should always come back to stuff. Is why should I care? What is that relevant to me? Why is it so important? Sub-second finality. What does 72,000 TPS mean? Is it just an ego trip in our space? And I think that's one thing that we are missing. Especially if we want to get the existing Web 2 world, whether you like it or not, to buy into Web 3 technology as well. So I think trying to get that story right is going to be really, really, really important. But I would say, guys, they have built this perfect island. That's why I'm here. The job is to go and tell everybody about it. And the more that we can use the community and people to support us with that, the better as well. Like I said, we don't do anything with the tech. We've still got one hell of a product. I actually do think it is going to be marketing. Well, I would say that because I want to keep my job, but it does. But it is, if you look at Red Bull spends 70% of their income on marketing because you're buying the brand, the product. They don't, the new Red Bull recipe is still the same. Coke is the same. It hasn't really changed much. And I think if we didn't change, not that I want any of the engineers to stop doing stuff, but that would be enough. The big challenge now is understanding what our go-to-market is and who our audience is, and then pulling in every possible resource and avenue to tell that story. And it's really hard for anyone to tell that story if we don't know ourselves what that story is and what the relevance is. And coming down the line, I think we'll show some of these things that you go, crikey, it can do that. I didn't realize that. And again, I would say to you guys in the community now, there's probably ideas for how we could use blockchain that we haven't thought of. Well, I haven't. There's probably brighter minds than me at the company. But you go, okay, but if you could do that, and you could combine all those things, and you could accelerate that, what does it mean? And the beauty for me is that we should be every other chain's friend. We're not fighting anyone. We don't want to fight with anybody. We have no beef with Solana, Aptos, Sui. We don't. We've just got some technology that will help you become even better, will help you achieve even more. It's a bit like having the best coaches in the world come and train your sports team, and it's not going to cost you anything. Well, we're getting chatted a little bit, but you know what I mean? It's like we're trying to give you this so that we all do better, and I don't see anyone in this space doing that at the moment. That's the huge appeal to me. How we do it, that's what I'm learning and trying to find the best way. So, in answer to your question, what's next for MultiversX? I think just telling the story more than anything else is going to be the key to that.
We've been over a lot today, and this has been a great conversation. One, we've talked about kind of goals and success and the story. So what is success for Adam Bates?
Oh, that's easy. I want to be paid $10 million a year, have no stress, and work an hour a week. It's pretty simple, isn't it?
Sounds great. Yeah.
You're going to put that out. You're going to put that out there. I keep using sport. I want to. God, it's just going to sound a bit too much. I want to be able to, like I said a little bit earlier, when someone says to me, "What do you work on?" I say, "I work in blockchain." They go, you're the guys that meant my daughter could trust that social media post. Or, you're the guys that did that thing that meant that election was honest, decent, and true. You're the guys that meant that my son's startup didn't have to pay all that money to lawyers. You're the ones meant he could buy a house because all those fees involved were a lot quicker. Or, you're the one that allowed me to tokenize those things so I could make some additional money out of all those things I earned. Then I've done my job. And it won't be, I've made MultiversX the biggest brand in the world, because that will happen. That will happen as a result of that. But I think success is, for me, is to make, it's a big bloody ask, is to make people think that blockchain isn't a joke. If I want to be really brutal here, and you can quote this, and cryptocurrency was probably one of the worst things to happen to blockchain. Whoa, controversial. Yeah. Why? Let's try and do an analogy. I'm Mercedes-Benz. I've brought out this great new engine, but all people talk about is how they can speculate on my new technology and make money on it. And they've forgotten how bloody good the engine was and what a difference that could make. And I think Robert Saves, he said the same thing. It's just one of the things it enabled, but everybody got so wrapped up in speculation. If you're old enough to remember the dot-com burst, bubble and burst at 2000, well, that's the internet over with, isn't it? And now look at it now. And I think success for me would be that you just take blockchain for granted in the same way you take for granted Zoom calls, FaceTime, things like this, the cloud. Do you remember, God, this is maybe showing my, the first FaceTime ad that came out, it was an Italian football team, and one of the players had broken his legs and couldn't be there, and they're in the change room with it, and they said, "Oh, wow, look." And it was like, wow, God, you can do that? And now we take it for granted. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think the day that we can take blockchain for granted, we don't even question it. It's just like the cloud. It's just like the App Store. It's just like, doing a FaceTime call. That will be success for me. It just becomes so everyday. And I think if we, as an industry, this is not me, if we can do that, then we will all have succeeded. So I sound like a politician, but do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not about one chain over the other. It's about, it's just this trust engine. It's just this thing that makes things a little bit better for everybody. And if you can leave it in a better place than that, so that they don't go, oh, so Dave, what do you work in? Oh, you're Dave Crypto. Hey, why doesn't it say Dave Scam or Dave, I'm going to rip you off? Or did you see what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
It just needs to. Maybe it's because I'm an immigrant to this as well, but I just think that we can do better as an industry, and I believe that MultiversX can do that with what they're building at the moment. That can be this sort of catalyst for good and to do. Gosh, I sound like a politician. I don't mean to, but it does. It's like this should be like the next big breakthrough in tech, and it's the only thing on the final note that can actually put the checks and balances into AI. And that is the other thing as well. If there is one thing that blockchain was built for, it is to put the checks and balances into AI. Now, we're not saying that it can change what AI does, but it, like Morpheus in the Matrix, like all I can do is show you the truth. Either stuff that comes in or stuff that goes out or the bias in the middle. I can't change that, but I can tell you how true it is as well. You have that ability. And when that resonates with our industry and we work together, and this is what MultiversX are doing, is to try and bring all those together to do these sort of big epic things. Yeah, that would be what success is for me.
Awesome. I love that. I completely agree too. And that's why I'm here. I see the potential for the entire space, and obviously MultiversX's part in it. They have just built an amazing foundation for something that can redefine the complete landscape of Web3 and the internet and everything. AI, all of it. And like you said, AI is such a big use case that it's going to be almost needed for. And I don't know if you and Benny have talked about the truth machine much, but that's something we're definitely curious to hear more about from him.
It's the whole concept of blockchain and AI together is a fascinating space. And when that happens, I think the world will buck up and take notice as well. And like I said, like the Matrix, I'm only offering you the truth. It's your chance to see and understand that. And that, boy, that is worth its weight in gold. You know, it really, really, really is. From everything, like even yourself and I talking, say, well, actually, how much truth is Adam speaking? Oh, look, he's actually got 3%, and then Dave's on 99. Well, you know, I believe more what he says. But if we can do that, then you've got mainstream user cases. You really have got that advantage. You don't have, like, you know, the Yelp mafia and things like that. It's like, actually, this is it. It's a way that you can actually figure out the truth or the trust or something, and then that opens up so many opportunities. It opens up an opportunity for, I could go, this is a real big rabbit hole, and maybe we should go on a separate talk about it. But the fact that you could trust somebody from a different culture, a different nature, a different area, you know, to come in and do something for you. My wife does this. You go to a hotel. I'll leave my children with a babysitter. Do you leave your wallet with a stranger on reception? No, you wouldn't. And it's like, well, hang on, what's your value of trust to you? You give the most valuable thing in your life to a stranger to look after, but not your wallet. And then, so this trust element is really, really, really important. And it's what blockchain was built for. And I don't think we as an industry yet have told that story in a way that's compelling. And I see that MultiversX can do that, or at least own that space. And the other thing, God, I can carry on talking for ages because it's in marketing. The other thing that we don't have is that we do not have, in my opinion, we do not have one person that the mainstream media could call on to be the spokesperson for blockchain. You want to talk about space, you call in Elon. You want to talk about social media, you call in Mark. I'm sounding like I know. Hey, Mark and Elon, come around for dinner. But we don't have anyone that does that. And that's what we need. And one of my aims would be, and whether it's Benny, I don't know, but it's to find someone that can be called to appear on Fox News or BBC or Star, whatever it is, and that actually can speak passionately about what blockchain can do and actually resonates with people. That's what I think we're lacking. We're lacking somebody in that the whole world media can turn to. You have Sam Altman, or the little finger, as Elon called it.
Yeah.
But we don't have anyone. We don't have anyone that we can call on to do that. And I think the other thing that we need more than anything else is our SpaceX moment. We haven't had our space. And what I mean by that is when that booster came down and the chopsticks came out, nobody said, I wonder if the share price is going to go up. They just looked at the tech and go, what? But they didn't. They just said, wow. And he spent 18 years doing that. And look what a difference. And we suddenly realized what was possible. And if there's two things that blockchain needs, it's a spokesperson and it needs a SpaceX moment. Don't know where that's going to come from, but there are opportunities. And I can even take a tiny step towards doing that. Then I will have had success. Does that make sense? Or am I just going off my own little grandiose world?
No, it makes total sense for sure. No, it's I love that.
Because it's part of the people then. Then the people will go,
yeah,
wow. And we haven't got that yet. We haven't. And we need that more than anything else.
Yeah. Hopefully we're
close. Is that a good place to stop? Is that a good place to stop when I get off my soapbox? I'm actually not 6'5". It's only because I'm standing on so many soapboxes to do that.
No, that was great. I like the big picture, the vision, and I agree. That's where that's a great. I don't even want to call it a goal, but what is success to Adam Bates, and I think that's great to have Web3 and this technology to just be integrated into everything, and for people to not even know it, but also be able to realize the impact that it does have if they think about it for a second. So that's great.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed doing this hugely. I'm very happy to come back and talk about anything you want, because unless we make ourselves available to your audiences and other audiences, then we're not going to succeed. So this is the first step. So yeah, if you want me back, or I can do anything else, and same to you guys in the community, whatever we can do, you let us know, whether it's direct, whether it's through Dave, whatever it might be, and we will try our best. That is what we will do. We will try our best.
Excellent. One real quick question then before we cap it off.
Go on then.
What if you could ask one thing of the community besides the communication aspect, to be more communicative and to tell you guys what we want? What's one thing that you would ask of the community?
Don't hate.
Don't hate.
Don't hate. Don't hate. Be nice. Be nice. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything. Don't beat up on other people. They're not trying to do stuff to fail. Everybody wants to succeed. So if you can do that, please do that. That's might be a big ask, but yeah, life's too short to go around hating people. And to putting that across, we're better than this. That's if I was going to ask. I'm not saying that the MultiversX community doesn't seem like that at all, but I think if you can spread the word, actually, the whole of our business will be better. The whole of our industry will be better if you can support each other and be each other's friend and try and do that. Normally, the only time this happens is when Morgan Freeman is president and aliens are coming, and actually that's the only time that all mankind and works. It's true though, isn't it? It's like, oh my God, Morgan Freeman's president of the United States. Yeah, the aliens are coming. That's the only time we're actually nice to each other. So yeah, don't hate, be supportive, try and help other people out. Just be nice. Yeah. Maybe I should launch Nice Chain. I don't know.
Nice Chain. And there probably already is a nice chain. I'm sure there's a nice coin.
There probably is. Yeah, I'm sure.
I think that's a great message to end it on, though. Don't hate, be nice, and really appreciate your time today, Adam. This was great.
Anytime.
I think the community is really going to like it, and looking forward to working with you and seeing where things go.
Yeah, well, I'm yours if you need me again. And again, to like I said, anyone in the community, we're here. We're nothing without you. Please just ask what we can do for you. We'll ask stuff back, but just ask us and we'll try our best. The first thing is we can listen and try and help you. So yeah, but thank you, Dave. It's been a pleasure.